Warning: viewers' discretion is advised as this may contain mature or triggering content. Story prompt: Dance. Title: On Broken Wings. Bellatrix, are you sure you will be able to dance tonight? Your wing, Athrun said as he bandaged up the broken wing. Don't worry, I will give these bastards a performance they won't forget. Well, they might forget since they'll die. Athrun chuckled. I still can't believe that bastard did this to your wing. Bella sighed. It's fine. He's mad we plan to leave, and mad I won't return his affection. Athrun cupped her cheek. You still should have come to me. I would have beat the crap out of him before he could have touched your beautiful wings. She nuzzled her face into his hand slightly. I told you, it's fine. Besides, Athena has him in her grasp now. Athrun shivered. He pissed off my sister as well? Yeah, he probably won't live to see tonight. She was so mad that he hurt me, her grand performer. You do know she sees you as more than that, right? Bellatrix nodded. Of course I know that. When she slammed Calfix's face into the ground, she growled out, Why did you hurt my sister? So I know well enough she cares for me. She just doesn't know how to show affection, unlike you. Athrun blushed slightly, with a half-smile. Still, though, I should have been there for you instead. You are mine. Bella nodded. And you are mine. Now, make sure my wing is binded nicely. I'm going to be moving around a lot in tonight's performance, and I don't need it causing me issues. If I bind it too tightly, it'll hurt more. That's fine. I can adjust to the pain throughout the day. But if it pops free during my performance, everything will be ruined because I will fail. Athrun frowned, but did as she asked. Once he was done, she stood, stretching her shoulder and flinching. This is gonna be hard. Maybe we can get one of the other dancers and... No! She has to be the one performing. Athrun flinched when his sister stepped through the door. How are you, Bella? Will your wings stop you from performing? Bellatrix shook her head. No, I had Athrun wrap it tightly, so I can adjust to the pain. He's simply worried. Athena sighed. I'm sorry. It shocked both of them to see Athena apologize. There was a faint blush on her hardened face, and it made Athrun and Bellatrix laugh slightly. It's fine, Athena. We all know they become enchanted whenever I dance, so it's only reasonable that I be the one to set the trap. I am an avian type, so I'm not strong like you, and now I can't even fly, so this is the way I can help fight to get us out of here. Thank you for being so understanding. If it were any of the other dancers, they would have backed out due to pain. I've heard when your kind gets broken wings, the pain is immense. I feel guilty for relying on you. Bellatrix smiled before closing the gap between her and Athena and giving her a hug. Athena stood there awkwardly, afraid to touch Bellatrix's back. Thank you for worrying about me, Athena. I'm going to go practice with this messed-up wing. I won't let you guys down. Athrun wanted to protest, but Bellatrix was already gone. He sighed. Don't worry, brother. As we are escaping, I will make sure to personally get her out of here. She's already in a lot of pain. The performance she will give may push her into an unconscious state. He nodded. I know. I don't want her to perform due to that, but as she said, she's the only one who can enchant them. Athena nodded. She is willing to sacrifice so much to help us all get away from these bastards. We can't let her down by failing. Let's make sure everything is ready. Athrun nodded, following his sister. They had been planning this escape for years now. It wasn't a simple task, as they were in an underground facility with triple security. But, as the years came to pass, those of us who had been changed through experiments came to notice there was always a day that the security dropped to nothing. because these humans used it as a day to celebrate. None of us knew what it was they were celebrating, but they did. It never failed. What we knew, though, was we were tired of being used by them, tired of the collars strapped around our throats. Some of us used to be human at one point, and others, they were born or created as full-blooded changelings. That was what we decided to call ourselves. Being called a changeling was better than an experiment. A few hours later, music played across the stage as Bellatrix sat in the center of it panting. Sweat coated her body, and she sighed. I can do this. I have to. She had been practicing, getting everything ready. She couldn't let her people down, not when freedom was so close. Something cold touched her neck, making her jump. What are you? Oh, Lou. The older oxen woman grinned. I've been watching you. Your dancing is a bit restricted, but still wonderful. I know you will be able to flow freely across the floor tonight. How about resting and taking this? Bellatrix frowned before gasping. How did you get that? You could get into serious trouble from stealing that from the medic bay. Lou winked at her, her soft fuzzy ears flicking as her tail swayed behind her in a lazy manner. Then I suggest taking them as quickly as possible so I don't get caught. Bellatrix laughed softly before grabbing the pills and drinking them down with water. Thank you, Lou. She nodded. Of course. Anything for you, my sweet child. Bella sighed. What do you think the world is like out there? She frowned. I don't know. Not even these humans talk about it, which I've always found to be odd. Bellatrix nodded. Same. What if... What if it's a death trap out there? Lou let out a heavy sigh. Then, in my mind, a death trap is better than a life of servitude. Bella leaned against Lou, who gently wrapped her arms around her. Lou had been like a mother figure to Bella, Athrun, and Athena. She had been placed in charge of 4 children, but one of them had died due to not listening to Lou's words. That child had actually been Lou's. It had taken a toll on her, but made her need to protect them even more. Make sure you knock them dead with your dancing tonight, she whispered before standing and moving to leave Bellatrix alone with her thoughts as she rested until evening rolled around. That evening, as Bellatrix stepped onto the stage, the air of the stage felt stagnant, or perhaps it was the pressure that was on her. The eyes of the humans glued to her always sent a chill down her spine, but she ignored it. Hey, what happened to your wing? One of them shouted. Bellatrix turned, bowing down slightly. I had a small accident today, and my wing ended up broken, but please do not worry. I will not let it affect my performance at all. The man that had shouted at her nodded. Good! Better not, unless you want to lose both those wings. Bellatrix shivered as the group of people began to laugh at the man's words. She stood straight, heading for the center of the stage, and pausing as if frozen. Her outfit tonight was more revealing than usual. It hugged the curves of her body, the skirt slit high at her waist for a more free-flowing effect. The top she wore was something like a camisole, but the back of it was missing, so it wouldn't get in the way of her wings. Music began to play, and she opened up her aquamarine eyes, tapping her bare foot. With each tap, the bells at her ankle let out a ring, merging with the music's beat. The tempo of the music began to increase, and soon her hips swayed. The bells there let out a similar chime with each sway. Sway, step, shake, sway, step, shake. The crowd began to clap lightly with each shake of her hips, and she smiled, right as the music seemed to abruptly stop. They seemed confused, almost ready to protest before the music shot off and her body moved with it. Her soft, graceful steps turned into a fierce-seeming battle. The bells attached to her body let out loud chimes with each step. She circled across the stage, her hips shaking, her feet gliding, twirling in a circle before them, her long, flowing black hair hugging her face in curves as she twirled and stopped. Her eyes were locked on the crowd, daring them to take their eyes off her for even a second. As she danced, her companions moved in, closing in on the group of humans that had gathered. The thrumming of the music now seemed to match the thrumming of her heart. She spun before, leaping into the air, her arms raised above her head as if they were her wings. The people gasped as she landed almost dangerously close to the edge of the stage. They thought it was a mistake, but it wasn't. She didn't stop, twirling once more, matching the ever-increasing beat of the music. Her body spun and spun. It seemed never-ending until it stopped. As soon as the music stopped, she did as well, and both of her wings snapped out from behind her, extending to their full glory. It hurt! It hurt so much that she wanted to scream. The crowd of humans before her shot up from their seats, cheering loudly and asking her to perform again. Her body shook, but then all hell broke loose as the plan started. Boom! 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 Explosions rang out, shaking everything and the humans. They seemed most shocked and panicked. They tried scattering, only to find themselves surrounded. Bella's people had their weapons, and the collars at their throat were gone. Bellatrix reached up to grab her collar, and it finally snapped off. She collapsed to the floor of the stage, panting, watching as her people rushed the humans. Blood splattered across everything, even reaching the stage she now laid upon. Some of the humans tried rushing up to the stage to use her against her people, but they never made it. "Just hang on a little longer, Bella," someone shouted over the chaos, but their voice barely made it into the buzzing in her head before she passed out. A few days later, "I can't believe this is what they were hiding," a voice said to the left of her. "No kidding, the world fell to ruin, so they went into hiding. This place is gorgeous now, though, and we fit in perfectly among these other creatures," said someone to the right of her. Bella opened her eyes slightly, flinching at the soreness of her body. What's... As she opened her eyes, she felt almost blinded by the light coming from the sky. Wait, the sky? Clouds? Were there clouds? The things she had only ever heard about in stories and seen in pictures? And that light? It was the sun! She sat up quickly, taking in everything around her. Athrun and Athena coming into view. They smiled at her. "We are free, aren't we?" They nodded and she rushed to them, throwing her arms around them both and hugging them tightly. "I was so worried." Athena and Athrun chuckled. "You had us both worried as well. That was an awesome performance, but you shouldn't have done that with your wings." Athrun grumbled at her. "He is right, Bella. You have been passed out for 3 days now." Bellatrix pulled back slightly. "I was?" They nodded. "So where's Lou at?" Athena pointed over, and Bella saw Lou helping others. "We made it," Bella said, tears falling as she smiled. Their plan had worked. They had finally set themselves free at last. The end! Oh man, you guys, it has been a long time since I have done this. Whew. Yeah. So we got moved, and I have just been busy trying to settle in. I'm now pretty settled in, and I'm not sure how this is going to turn out, but, you know, it is what it is. I want to get back to posting my short stories to YouTube, so I do apologize beforehand if this audio is not the greatest, if it sounds weirder than what it usually would. I apologize. I am also in the process of getting my books done to be audiobooks. They are not being read by humans. They are actually, I'm going the cheaper route, but it'll be a robotic voice with a human narration. They're not super bad right now. I've only gotten the ones from Apple Books done. There's also one that's going to be put in Overdrive, I believe is what it was. And they aren't done yet, so I'm waiting for that before I go trying to post any of the links for them. But I do hope you guys will enjoy the short stories to come. I am steadily working on other books. I've been struggling to try and focus on which one I want to focus on. It's been really hard. But I have, I think, now narrowed down to one book at this current point. So, I do hope you will look forward to that. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!